Okay, and welcome back, students who are taking Math for Business and Finance and Math Applications. We are working on the last problems for the Chapter 15 summary practice test. So we only have 2 problems left here. And let's go to number 4. All right, now it says Loretta Schulten bought a home for $210,000 with a down payment of $30,000. Her rate of interest was 6% for 35 years. Calculate her payment per $1,000 and her monthly mortgage payment. Is that what that says? Calculate Loretta's payment per $1,000. I mean, it's just, it confused me here the way this is written because of just doing it so many times. I mean, we're going to calculate her payment per 1,000. So what we're doing is we're taking the loan of 210,000 and we're subtracting the down payment of 30,000, and we end up with the amount that 180,000 is what she's going to borrow. And so what's her payment per 1,000? Well, we can divide the 180 by 1,000, and that's her payment per 1,000, 180. Okay. So that's why it got me a little confused here, because I've just gotten so accustomed to doing this. I'm just going to drop off that 1,000 right there, and my payment per 1,000 is 180. Okay, and then calculating our mortgage payment, well, we look up that factor on the table. 6% for 35 years gives us a factor of 5.71. And when we multiply that, the monthly payment is $1,027.80. That simple. All right. It's like you get accustomed to doing more and more difficult problems, and all of a sudden you get whacked with this really easy one. It's like, duh. All right. Last problem here. It says, okay, so from problem 4, using problem 4, calculate the cost of interest for. All right, so we had a payment of $1,027.80 from the last problem, and that's for 35 years. So 35 years for 12 payments is 12 monthly payments is 420 monthly payments. So we multiply that by 420, and we end up with 431,676. And of course, to know how much the cost of interest is, we subtract out how much we borrowed, which was 180,000. And we ended up with, and we end up with 251,676. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so this video is a little bit short, but I did this on purpose. I mean, I'm at 3.5 minutes, and it would have made the previous video a little bit longer. We try to keep them short. Okay, so this is chapter 15, and where we're going next is in chapter 16 is going to be a whole different set of concepts. Okay. In chapter 16, we're talking about how to read, analyze, and interpret financial reports. Up until this point in time in the textbook, as an overview, everything has been building blocks one upon the next. I mean, right from chapter 1, each chapter was kind of like, okay, here's what you learned, and when you went to the next chapter, something additional was added. Just for example, present value and future value, the time value of money. Okay, you did a lump sum, and then in the next chapter you went to an annuity, which was a payment. Basically, it's still the present value and future value. It's just broken down into a finer increment. And then from that chapter, you went into installment buying. Well, installment buying is nothing more than payments. Well, what was the previous chapter? Annuities, payments. Okay, so installment buying was payments, and it didn't matter what you're making payments on, whether it's on a credit card, you're making payments on your car, on a house, mortgage, or a loan from the bank. Okay, they were installment payments. Okay. And then when you went into the last chapter, or this chapter 15, we're talking about the cost of home ownership, which is nothing more than installment buying. Okay, so over the course of time, over these chapters, it's been building blocks, one upon the other, and that's why in this chapter it was just like, do I really need to do this chapter, because it was just so repetitive and so simplistic, for me at least, because I had worked through everything else. Right? There was like really nothing new in this chapter, and all I really had to do was just pay, look at the idiosyncrasies, what table I'm looking at, I had to calculate a down payment, that type of thing. Right? So, but going forward, now in chapter 16, we're talking about a whole different ball of wax here, and that will be analyzing and interpreting financial reports. So, yes, you're going to still need to use concepts like ratios and percentages, from the earlier chapters, okay? And to a certain extent, as part of financial statements, you're going to have to be concerned with the concepts of making payments and things like that. But really, it's going to be a whole different ball of wax. All right. So when you do chapter 16, watch through the theory videos, because now, especially for those people who are in any of the business curriculums, it's beginning to lay the foundations for when you have to take financial accounting. Okay, and a lot of people struggle with financial accounting, and rightly so. But I wonder how much of that is attributed to their not really taking in this information that you're going to be presented in the next chapter and going forward. So concentrate a little bit extra on these upcoming chapters, because this is the really high level, and it's the building the foundation of the financial accounting and accounting, which all business majors have to take. So with that said, I will see you in chapter 16, and we'll start working with our financial statements.